I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we will be good to you.
So on today's episode, we're going to be putting a dual steering stabilizer on the old welding car. We'll be replacing this with this. If y'all been keeping up with the channel, then you know that I've been having trouble with death wobble and all that stuff. So anyway, what we did is we put a steering box stabilizer, or sector shaft stabilizer, on the truck already. If you haven't seen that, the video is just go to my videos and it's in the death wobble playlist, or however you want to see it. Anyway, that did away with the death wobble. Okay, now since then I put bigger tires on the truck. I went with 35s, and the factory steering stabilizer, no good. You can see, like on some trucks, you'll see, like especially with mud tires, you'll see each lug, like every other lug is kind of chopped up. And what that's from is the stabilizer, or the dampener, is not holding the wheels straight. It doesn't have a firm. It's either the tires are too big for the stabilizer, or it's the stabilizer is just worn out, and it's not holding them enough. And what it does is, as you're driving, any little thing that those tires pick up, it makes them kind of move back and forth. Now, when you see those lugs chopped up like that, like one will be worn, and then one won't, and one will be, and then it's every other one. And what that is your tires are doing this. And like I say, the bigger the tire, the less effective the factory steering stabilizer is. Okay, and now I've said it before, and I have to go back and correct myself. Okay, I said that we're not going to cover up, because what this does is it makes it to where, you know, essentially your tires should be true even without these stabilizers. And what I've always thought was, it's kind of like a cover-up. You're just masking the problem. You need to get everything right, and then this will just be icing on the cake. Well, what I didn't take into consideration is that a tire is ever changing. Okay, so if you have just a little shake to start with, the more that tire gets eaten up, the worse it's going to get. So it's best just to correct the problem before it gets worse, if that makes sense. Even if there's not a problem, if you have 35-inch tires on your truck, the factory stabilizer is not enough to hold them. Okay, it's just not. Sorry. So anyway, that's kind of the reason for doing this. We need to get those tires. We need to dampen them down to where they ride good, because if you can correct the problem before it gets any worse, then it won't get worse. Does that make sense? Let's try that again. If you can cancel out no, I don't like that either. If you cancel out, let's see, I'm gonna get it. If you go ahead and delete the problem before it exists, 9 times out of 10, the problem won't occur. Yeah, moving on. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I just got some new tires put on my truck. I think that they're fairly new tires, because I usually keep up with them. I've run Nitos before, and I went with the Ridgeline MTs, and not MTs, excuse me. They're actually an aggressive all-terrain. They've got a big side lug. I don't know where you use a side lug, but anyway, they look good. But the tread pattern looks like I can get some highway miles out of them. So instead of spending $2,500 on some MTs, give them a shot. They're all gonna wear out. Maybe these will last a little longer. So what I'm gonna do, instead of ordering a whole kit, because I built several things for this, and they didn't work out real good. I built a quadruple steering stabilizer. I tried to use just regular shocks, and that's no good. And I knew that to begin with, but I just bought some cheap ones just to kind of test out all my little theories and ideas. And the reason for that is you can't use just a regular shock for a suspension. And here's why: because on an actual dampener, it doesn't have, when you compress it, it doesn't try to push back. It just dampens the movement. Okay, so a regular shock for a suspension that goes, you know, with a coil spring it's actually got a rebound. So what's going to happen whenever your car goes down? That shock is going to be able to move quicker to rebound and catch it and keep you from doing this. Okay, so you need to, whatever shock you get, you need to get a dampener. Okay, not a regular, just a strut or a shock or anything. And you know, of course, when you get into four-wheel drive components, a lot of those don't have a rebound. They're just seriously good, well-made products that, you know, it doesn't require that. So, but anyway, what I went with is a Bilstein 5100 series. It's real common in kits and stuff. They do have remote reservoir shocks. They've got adjustable shocks and all kinds of things like that. And a lot of people use those, but I think with a dual steering stabilizer and these shocks, I think will be just fine. These are the last on my 2011 one ton. I put a kit. I actually put a steering kit on it, and it came with these same shocks, and I never had any trouble with them. So anyway, that's the shocks that we're gonna use. What else? How did I find these shocks? Okay. All right. So what you do is I picked out the travel. Okay. Now to find that, you have to figure out on the factory shock, when it's compressed all the way, whenever on your steering and all, when it's compressed all the way, you need a compressed length, and then you need an extended length. Okay. Now what I did is you turn your tires all the way to one side. Now, depending on where your shock is or where your dampener is, on which side of the truck, depend which side you turn your tire. So anyway, if you'll turn your wheel all the way, just max it out. Okay, and then go and look at your steering dampener. If it's extended, you need to measure from bolt hole to bolt hole, and that's going to give you your extended length. Okay, now that means it's not going to go past that. So on an extended length, what I like to do is I'll round up. I'll round to the nearest inch or the nearest half inch, or anyway, just to go up a little bit, because you want to have a little cushion in there. And then go back in your truck, turn it all the way to the other side, and your shock should be collapsed. Now that's going to be your collapse length. Now same thing, center of bolt to the center of the bolt, and measure that. That's going to give you your collapse length. Now when you round that number, you want to round down. So I think mine was like in the 17 or something like that. So I just went ahead and rounded to 15. So what I was looking for was like a 15 to 23. Now if it's lower than that, that's great on the collapse side, and if it's higher than the extended length, that's great. But you don't want to go in between that, because if you max it all the way out and you pretty much, because your steering pump's really strong, and if you max that shock all the way out, it will fail. It will fail. It might not fail the first time, but it's coming. So you want to leave yourself just a little bit of room on the extended length and the collapse length. And what you can do, if you want to find these, you can go to their website and you can type in, it'll give you an option. Just look around on it, and it'll give you an option for purchase by length, or find a shock that you need by length, and all that. So that is how I found these, or that's how I knew the size shock. Now, like I say, mine's a 2015 Dodge. I can't remember on the earlier year models, because they did change the front end. But if you'll just do what I told you to do and measure, then you should be just fine. Now you can do Fox if you really want to spend some money. You can do Fox Racing. Carly Suspensions has got awesome products. Anyway, I would suggest not going with the cheapest one you can find, but it's up to you. You do your thing. I did these. These were about $80 a piece, and like I say, I've had good luck with them in the past, so that's what I went with. We removed the old stabilizer. Now what I did is I had these laying around the shop, and the eyelets for these bushings are this here. This eyelet is going to be a ½ inch. Okay. Now in order to do the setup that we're going to do on my particular truck, you can do it. I don't know about the other ones. You just have to look and see. But I just got a ½ inch bolt. You're going to need them a pretty good bit longer in order for it to work. So you can see there's not a whole lot of give in there, and these lock washers that I have right here, I think I've got enough for 6 on each side. 4, 6. Is it 6? 2, 4, 6. Okay, that's 6. All right, let me get the other one. Let me get the other shock out. Okay, now what you're gonna do is on one shock, you're gonna do that. And you're gonna take your lock washers, and you can use regular washers. If you go to Home Depot, they actually have these little pins, these little inserts right here, kind of like what I did on my traction bar videos. You can get these, and you can cut them down, or you can leave them the length you want, or however you want to do it. But I'm just going to use these for right now, just because they'll push up against that. They fit pretty snug against the bolt, and they fit pretty tight up against that eyelet. So whenever I tighten them down, it's not going to shove into my my bushing. Let's get the other one out. Okay. All right. So now here's the other one. Okay. What this is for? Whenever you go, you put one of these in the factory, in the factory mounting bracket. There'll be, just like when we took the other one out, on the differential, it's got one, a little clip, and the shock was it'll slide up in there, and then on the other side, it's got another one on the steering arm that it'll slide in there. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide this one in there first. All right, then you're gonna take your bolt, you're gonna drop it down through there. All right, now you're gonna take your whatever you're gonna use to space them out with, because if you don't, if you try to put it on there and don't put these, then what's going to happen is your shocks are going to end up contacting each other. So you want a little gap in there in order for that to work out right. All right, we got them on there. So now you can see that when we tighten these up, you're still going to have a little space right there. Okay, now once you get them in the bracket, you're going to have a little more space, but the more the merrier, because if you don't, then they will contact each other. Could end up rubbing a hole, you know, I don't know. So that's just the way I'm gonna do it.
I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we will be good to you.
Real quick, this is what's called a jam nut. That way you don't have to have a what you call it, on the you don't have to have a lock washer to actually hold the nut, because they will be moving. There will be movement. For the most part, you're just going to get it in and out on the shock. But with a steering arm, let's see, I'm gonna roll it up like this. On a steering arm, here's your differential, here's your steering arm. Now as you turn your wheels, it's gonna get closer and it's gonna come up. So there will be a little movement in those shocks as they depress and extend. So anyway, jam nut. That way you don't have to have a lock washer. Okay guys, I just wanted to recap just a little bit. I'm back at work. I have probably right at 1,000 miles on the steering stabilizer, and it works awesome. I can literally drive like more than 60 miles without my drink going flat. Okay. Awesome. Now the whole point of this, like I say, is because I had a lot of vibration and shaking and what have you in my steering, and which I'll get into that in another video. But my tires are they're not chopping up. It keeps a straight line. You can't ask for more than that. I still want to address some more things just because they are issues, and anybody that's kind of following the series, I want to address everything, because the problems that I'm having might not be the problems that you're having. And now there is, every once in a while I can still feel a little vibration, but I can't feel it in the steering wheel. I can feel it in the truck itself. And if your axle is not moving, or your steering linkage is not moving, then it's got to be something else. You're talking about upper and lower ball joints, wheel hubs, even your brakes will cause some vibrations. So down the road I want to address that too. Like the clip that you just saw, you saw me hold up some cut washers, some just regular flat washers. What I forgot to mention is the little eyelet that's inside the bushing on the shock. If you just tighten up the bolt and the lock washers around that, eventually, that thing is not a part of that bushing. It's just slid in there to have a hard something hard to hold around that bolt. And if you don't have something to kind of sandwich those polyurethane ends on there, those bushings, then they will eventually work themselves out or deteriorate or mess up. So you definitely want some flat washers on each end. Now the shock that goes in the factory mounting place, the factory mounting bracket, that acts as a sandwich. That'll keep it okay. But the lower or upper, whichever one you decide to do, it's gonna need a washer on each side of it, if that makes sense. So anyway, that's the video. It works great. I feel like this allows you to put more of your money where it counts, if that makes sense. Instead of spending all your money on a kit with a really, really nice kit with just kind of cut rate shocks, then you can put more of your money towards good shocks. Like I say, I've got about $150, $160 tied up in those shocks. So I mean, that's you really can't ask for better than that. There's nothing that is gonna be more sturdy or more rigid and robust as those factory mounting brackets. Anytime you add something, like it's not going to be as pretty or as cool looking as having two shocks or a shock coming from each side. But what you run into, the farther you get away from that axle and start putting shocks and stuff on it, you're going to get movement. and you can't help that. So anyway, like I say, I prefer this. My motto is always, you know, form follows function. It's got to work good before it looks good, and this is about the best it can work. So anyways, if you like that, then give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, whatever y'all want to do. Future plans. I'm planning on getting back on the welding machine. Anybody that's kind of followed my channel knows I'm in the middle of a SA 300 build, SAE 300 build, the old school, it's all DC welding machine. And that was actually the very first video I did. And since I've been at work, I've been steady at work on the road, so I haven't had time to do that. The welding hoods, they're coming up. I'm fixing this, which I've been saying for a while. I'm fixing to get equipment. I need a little CNC router to kind of finalize some of the pieces I'm making, do the headbands and stuff like that. So that being said, all that stuff's coming up when I get off this job. Hopefully I'll have a little time to do a little bit with that. And anyway, just kind of keep building this empire. If you thought that all I did was welding hoods, you're sadly mistaken. So much more. Anyway, I just got to do what time will allow me to do, and being this camper is not much. So just trying to keep forward progress. Anyway, make sure to like, subscribe, Instagram, Facebook, the whole deal. Send me a friend request, follow me, and we'll get into something else next time. Thanks for watching.